Okay, we are in casual mode today. For Yoma, Daf Lamed Zayin, Amid Aleph. Here we go. We are about 7 lines down. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 11 lines down. Tanya. So when the Kohen Gadol would say, Kasha, Ki vayem Hashem yichaper alechem v'tareschem mikol chateischem v'fnei Hashem, so he would say the Shem HaMeferish, and everybody would answer Baruch Shem Kavod Malchusay La'olam Va'ed. In fact, he's like, where's the source for this? Tanya. Learned in a Bryce. Rebbe Yomer, Rebbe says, Kishem Hashem Ekra. And this is how we dash in the pasuk. Amar la Moshe Yisrael. Moshe tells the Jewish people, B'shasha ani masker shmoi shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. At the moment that I mention the name of Hashem, Atem havu goyda le'lekeinu. You have a goydel. You give greatness. You make goydel. You say a shvach. You respond with something great by saying Baruch Shem Kavod Malchusay La'olam Va'ed. Hanania ben Achi Rabbi Yeshua. Hanania, the nephew of Rabbi Yeshua, says a different source. Zecher Tzadik Livracha. Amar Lahem Navi Yisrael. The Navi tells Yisrael, which is interesting because this is a pasuk in Koheles. The Navi tells Klal Yisrael, B'shoshani masker tzadik oilamim, when I mention the righteous of the worlds, meaning Hashem, atem tenu bracha, you say a bracha, which is Baruch Shem Kavod Malchusay La'olam Va'ed. I looked around a little bit. I mean, I only looked in maybe the Marsha. I didn't see what the machlekes here is, but Tzarech Ian, what the machlekes is, what's the difference between giving a bracha and giving goydel? Okay, so like the Hilchah Mishnah, we go weiter. We got to get back into the Beis HaMikdash, and we left the Kohen Gadol was bein ulam mizbeach, and he did smicha on his par. Then balei lemizrach ha'azara, he goes backwards to the eastern part of the azara, l'tzafan hamizbeach, still north of the mizbeach. Haskan miyamin v'reish bez av mismeli, the skan Kohen Gadol is on his right, and the reish av bezdin is on his left. And there are the two ghosts. The kalpe hoisa sham, and there was a box there. Uba shnei geirales, and there were two lotto, geirales, or lotto tickets, or lotto things. Shal eshker, that were made out of wood. Hayu vason. Okay, that's what we got. Now vason ben Gamla. The Mishnah is going to tell us a few people. First one being Ben Gamla. This is Rabbi Yeshua Ben Gamla. When he became the Kohen Gadol, he said, "Hey, one second. Why are these lotto, what do you call them? Tablets? Why are they made out of wood? I'm going to make it out of gold." So he made it shel zahav. And they would mention Ben Gamla l'shvach because he improved that. He proved it. Ben Katin. So Yud Beis Dod Lekir. Ben Katin. He made 12. Faucets for the kiyar. There were only 2 before, and he made 12. He also made a lift for the kiyar. This way, the water wouldn't be nifsal balina, wouldn't become possible by staying out overnight. So they're able to use this pulley to lower the kiyar into the water, and then in the morning they lift it back up, and then they'd be able to washroom it, and the water would become puzzle. Munbaz hamelech he made all of the handles that were going to be used of the kalim that were used on Yom Kippur. He gilded them. He made them out of gold. Hilania Ima, his mother, Hilania Malka, also son Nefreshes Shalzav. She made a golden candelabra. Al Pesach Hechel, that was on, and they hung it on the Pesach, on the opening of the Hechel, and that was used. We'll see for the talismans my Krishma was. Va'ati Asa Tabla Shalzav. She also made a golden tablet. Parshas Soita Kesuvaleh, that had the Parsha Sut written on it, and therefore when a Soita was brought to the base, I mean they shouldn't have to think out of Sefer Torah to write the Parsha from. They could use this tablet. Niknar. Nasu nisim l'dal seisav. We will see what miracles were done for Niknar's doors. And they mentioned him l'shvach as well. Zok de'el gemara. From the fact that we had to be in the tzafon of the mizbech and we couldn't be opposite the mizbech at all, mechlal the mizbech la betzafon koit. That means that the mizbech is not in the tzafon at all. Mani, who's that? Rav Elazar ben Yaakov. The Tanya, it's ben Elazar Hashem, she'et tzafon kulei panui. That you could be anywhere in tzafon if you're opposite the mizbech and you are in tzafon. Divrei Rav Elazar ben Yaakov. Meaning that if you were not opposite the mizbech, you were not in that tzafon. Opposite the mizbech, that means there was no way you could be not opposite the mizbech and still be in the tzafon. So that means the entire mizbech was not in the tzafon. If a little bit of the mizbech was in the tzafon, then you could, even if you wouldn't be like opposite the mizbech, if you'd be underneath it a little bit, you'd still be in the tzafon. But that wasn't the case. That's Rav Elazar ben Yaakov's opinion. We already said that the beginning of the Mishnah was Rav Elazar ben Shimon, the Mishnah we mentioned yesterday, ben ulam lahechel. So if you were ben ulam lahechel and you were in the tzafon, that means some of the mizbeach was in the tzafon. Ben ulam le mizbeach. Okay, says the Gemara. Variation of Rav Elazar ben Shimon. He answers the Gemara. No, Hakul Rav Elazar ben Yaakov. He betani. You weren't actually between the ulam and mizbech, but you were very close to being between the ulam and mizbech, but you were actually between the ulam and nothing, because you had to be in the tzafon according to Rav Elazar ben Yaakov, and you were not opposite the mizbech. Now we said that the skan was miyamin and midrosh be'ezav was bismoil to the right and the left of the kohen gadol. The Gemara says 1 second. Amar Yehuda, mahalach liyamin rabbi harei zeh bor. If you walk on the right of your Rebbe, you are a boor. A boor is an ignoramus. Rashi says, not only do you not know Torah, you don't even know Hilchas Derech Eretz. What are you doing walking next to your Rebbe? You boor. Tanan, Askan Bimina, Ivreja Bez Mismoile. She says that they did. You have 3 people walking together. Harab Be'emtza, God will be Yaminai, Vekadam Mismoile. Of the 2 besides the Rav, the greater one stands to the right and the lesser one stands to his left. And they were in a horizontal line. They were not vertical. They were not one in front of the other, because they said that they were nitzav olav. They were all standing above him, so they must have been next to each other. So you see, one was to the right and one was to the left. So the Gemara says no. First teretz, Targuma, Rav Shmuel Bar Papa Kamid Rav Ada Ba Kadeshi Iskansa Be Rabbi. Not you are behind you, they're behind his Rabbi. They're behind him. If you walk opposite your Rabbi, you're a bor. Achuri Rabbi, walking behind your Rabbi is Gasei Ruach, that's haughty. So they could have been walking behind him, and it says the Gemara, the Mitzaded Atztudei. So you weren't directly behind your Rebbe. You were you were to the right, but behind him. So you weren't right next to him. You were a little behind him, but to the right, and the next one was a little bit behind him to the left. So you weren't parallel with him. Okay, so that's what we have to explain. The Mishnah also, even though it says Mimin smile, doesn't mean directly to his right and to the left. They were a little bit behind him. Like they look more weiter. The kalbi oisa shom ubashne geira lois. Turn about him. You learn in the Braise v'nasan Aaron al shnei asirim geira lois. And Aaron placed on the 2 goats geira lois. These lotto tickets. I don't know what to call them. What do you call it? A lotto. I don't know, a lotto tablet, a lotto tablet. I don't know. Geirolis. So it sounds like, Geirolis is plural. So he put on the 2 Geirolis 2 lottos. Says Geirolis should call over. It can be made out of anything. It sounds like you're putting 2 on each one. One is Lashem, one is Lazazel. Ein kan Lashem, ela Geirlecha. There's only one Lashem, but ein kan Lazazel ela echad. Well, Yachal Yitin Shal Shem V'Shal Azazel Al Zeh, V'Shal Shem V'Shal Azazel Al Zeh. maybe you put you put both on each one, on each animal, and then you move it. Rashi says, and then you choose which one is Lashem and which one is Lazazel. Taisa says, no, you do the lotto first for Lashem, and then you just move the tickets or the tablets over to each one. But the Gemara says, no, you don't have to do that. Talmud Leimar, girl echel Lashem einkan Lashem alechav einkan Lazazel alechav imkain matam lema girl. So why does it say girl lace? Two. Shiu shavin, they got to be the same. They got to be the same. Don't make one out of gold and one out of silver. Don't make one large and one small. Gerolay shall call over. Somewhere says, so that's what Gerolay should teach me. When you tell me Gerolay shall call over, I can make it out of anything I want. Pshita is not obvious. Why shouldn't you be allowed to make it out of anything you want? Look at the tiny lefisha but it's I find that the tzitz Hashem kosov alav bushel zav. The tzitz has Hashem's name on it and it's made out of gold. Yochol, I would think, maybe this also has to be made out of gold. Talmud Lemer, Goyrol, Riba shel Zayis, it could be out of olive wood, Riba shel Egois, it could be walnut, Riba shel Eshkoira, it could be brush, some other type of wood. Okay. Ben Katin, Asr Shneim, Asr Dod Lakir. So Ben Katin was a Kohen Gadol in the second base of Mikdash who made the kiyar with 12 spouts. What a great idea! Tana Kadesh you Shneim Asr Achiv HaKayanim HaSukim B'Tamid Mekachin Yadayim V'Ragleim B'Vasachas. Now all 12 who are dealing with the carbon tamid can wash their hands at the same time. What they used to do, Tana, it was thought when they only had two, Shachris B'Miluay Mekadesh Yadav V'Raglav Mina Elyon. Because one was higher than the other, so you'd watch from the higher one. And Arvis Biridase, when you were leaving, Mekadesh Yadav V'Raglav Mina Tachtin, you'd wash from the lower spout. Okay. Afu Asa Muchni, Ben Dad would also make a Muchni. I'm sorry, Ben Katin would make a lift as well. Lakir. My Muchni Amrabai Gilgala, it was a wheel to have a mashka'ale that was able to sink it, was able to lower it and lift it. He made all of the handles gold. Why only making the handles gold? Why don't you make the entire fleet out of gold? It's a fair question. So, top of Lamed Zayin Beis, Amar Abaye b'yadai sakinen. We're talking about knives. Knives you can't make out of gold; they're not going to be strong enough. So, but those you'd make the handles out of gold. Like the Gemara may say, I'm going to challenge you, Abaye. Afu asa kanekim. He also made the base of kalim, the oigne kalim, and the rims of the kalim, the yadais kalim, and handles of kalim, the yadais sakinen, and the handles of the knives. Shalem Kippurim Shalzav. So you see, he made, it says here, Yadais Sakinim and Yadais Kalim. Oh, so, answers Abaye, talking about Abaye, Bekatita, Degarni, Vechatzini. Again, all of the Kalim that were possible to make out of gold, he did. And then in addition to that, Kalim that were made, that couldn't have been made out of gold, like shovels, or sickles, maybe axes and sickles, which could not be made out of gold. They needed to be made out of a stronger material. He would make their handles out of gold as well. Okay, says the Gemara Hilani imay asa nivrasha shalzav. So Hilani Mbaz's mother made a nivrashis, which was some type of candelabra out of gold. Hana. We learned when the sun would start to shine, so there would be rays shining out, coming out from this nivreshus, this vakolia, and everybody knew that the time for Shema had arrived. Beautiful. If you're going to read the Shema with the Anshe Mishmar, were the Kahan that were working, or the Yisraelim that were there to daven with the carbon, the Anshe Mishmar would read too early because they had to be busy with the carbon, and therefore they would say Kriya Shema too early. But Anshe They would say Krishma too late. You're right. The point of this was not for the people in the base of Mikdash; it was people outside the base of Mikdash. That means this nefreshes would shine all of Yerushalayim, and everybody's able to know that it was time to say Shema. Now, what was going on over here? What the Anshe Mishmar and the Anshe Maimed didn't say Kriya Shema Bismanai? Says Rashi. First of all, Lizman Kriya Shema mitzvah imanei. The mitzvah is to say Shema with the Netzach Hama. Now, what does that mean with the Netzach Hama? Does that mean a little bit before Netz? Does it mean at Netz? That's a machlokes. Nesaisus here, 2 days. If it means right before Netzach Hama, or does it mean at Netzach Hama? Ima Netzach Hama. It can mean before or after. We are of the assumption that it means right before Netzach Hama. Really, the mitzvah to say Kriya Shema is Misha Yakir. And then you get until, and the Vasikin would say it right next to Kriyish, right next to Vasikin, not right next to Netzach Hama, in order that they'd be able to daven Shema Esrei at the first moment of the day. Others learned that they know that really the mitzvah of Kriyish Shema is to be said after Netz, and the Vasikin would say it early because they wanted to be Semach Ul Tefillah and daven earlier. Yotzei, if you say Kriyish Shema a little earlier. Rashi learns that the Anshe Mishmar, the Kehanim that serves, they said Shema before the day. And that could just mean too early, like maybe like before, from Alais, or maybe from Mishiakia, and they didn't say it Kivasikin, which would be the best time to say it. And the Anshe Maimer, though, Rashi said, Yisrael Amdim Shlichas Hatzibur al Karban Shenema Tishmel Hakir Mitzvah Shiu Mashmar Va'amdim al Karbanam. They would wait till the end of the carbon tamid to be brought. Now, when was that? That could be like at the 5th hour, like almost close to Chatzos. So if that was the case, and then they didn't even get this mitzvah of saying Kriya Shema, they were only saying it. They totally missed the mitzvah. And so the Yesh Shalem, there are those that learn in Rashi that they hold that the Anshe Mishmar and the Anshe Maimer did not say Kriya Shema Zmanai. They said Kriya Shema before the Zman, and they did that to be Omed Mitech, to do the Avodah Mitech Torah, and the Anshe Maimer said it after the Zman, and they said it to get schar of saying Torah, but they missed Zman Kriya Shema. Others learn that if you take a look at the Dirshu to the side, so first he brings the way Rashi learns that they missed it. Then the last paragraph on the first column, the Yesh Sefer, so he took on Parsha Anshe Mishra Anshe Maimer Bittul Mitzvahs Kriya Shema De'Oraisa. They didn't say it at the best time. Shanshe Mishra Karu Achar Leisa Shachar Anshe Maimer Kodim Shalosh Shois. V'Lachen Akaru Isa Imam Yotzi Decheva Achlo Yotzi Decheva Samitzvah Karoi, because the best time to say it is Kivasikin. If you would normally read with them Bekvias Shaloy Manetzach Hama. You shouldn't do this. You should do it at the right time. Okay. Tesis, long tesis here, goes through. And it doesn't bring it here. I'm surprised, but he goes through when the Vasikin, what they did, they say Krishna at the right time or at the wrong time. Okay. Let's go right. She also made a tabla, this Hilani. Shmamina. What do you see from here? Megillah Latinik Leslamidba. You are allowed to write a parsha of the Torah, so you can teach a child how to read it. That means even if it's not in a chumash, you could just write a part of the Torah. Now, that may not sound surprising to you, but it's actually machlokes in the Gemara. And in Gittin Nachlo Tanayim in the Shaila, the time of those who answer it is Shekashem Sha'asu Loimer Baal Peh Dom Shabachsav. Just like you can't say Baal Peh, things that are meant to be written down, because Yeah, you can't write. It's an issue of saying things about peh. So you have to read things from the Torah. And therefore it's an issue of reading about peh. Now, you can see from here that the issue would even be if you're not writing it on a cloth and bidya, because here they're writing it on a golden tablet. Okay. Says the Gemara. So you have a rai from here that you could do this. No, they actually didn't write out the whole parsha. They only wrote the Rashi Tavis of the whole parsha. So it would remind the person writing it what he's supposed to write. But they wrote it Ba'al Beis means in Rashi Tavis, the first letter of each word. When the person would be writing, he would see on the tablet what to write. And he'd write it. That which is written on the tablet. Says he would look and see, and it would remind him what he's supposed to be writing, but not that he would actually write what is exactly there, because it was just Rashi Tavis. Meisvei, other Brisa says, Kishahu Kaisev Raya v'Kaisev Mashakasav Betabla, and what was written on the tablet, Im Shachav Ish Isachav Im Lai Shachav Im Satis Im Lai Shatisa. So you see that it says the entire pasuk. And to the Gemara Hasabisirug, and Rashi explains that means they would write the first 3 words of each pasuk and then the Rashi Tevis of the rest of the pasuk, but they wouldn't write out the entire thing. Okay.